Hello, everyone, and welcome today to ECKSTEIN's Cafe.
To something other than ourselves.
Amen.
That there is something surrounding us that makes us one and a part of something, and surrendering to that oneness and allowing us to get beyond the smallness of who we are and the challenges that are overwhelming this particular frame or this particular emotional set allows us to connect with something greater. Whether you call it God, whether you call it the universe, there is a belief that we are not standing separate and distinct alone, popping up out of nowhere and existing in a vacuum. We are part of something, and in that wholeness, we can find peace, we can find healing. And I remember...
See, this is the substance you're going to find in reading her book. Lucie is deep, I'm telling you. We could go on forever here on the show. Lucie is deep.
Have this conversation forever.
And I love it. I really do. But let me hold up the book again and let people know, because we're going to have to go to short break.
Oh, please.
But this is the book. It's called I Am by Lucie Lewis, and you can purchase this online.
You can purchase it online.
Just Google Lucie Lewis, the book I Am. I think I found the link on Amazon.com.
There's a link on Amazon. There's a link in Barnes & Noble. I also have a website, renewalinthegarden.com, where it is available. And it's also available, I'm always open to speaking engagements to groups where I make the book available there.
See, it says, your journey begins within, renewal from within the garden, Lucie Lewis. And we're going to go to short break, and we'll be back to talk more with Lucie Lewis about her entrepreneurship, her own business, and whatever else endeavors that she has going on. So you stay tuned, and we'll be right back. Thank you.
Thank you.
From a baby's first steps to walking your daughter down the aisle, so many of life's precious moments are spent on our feet, and every step you take contributes to a healthier heart. By walking briskly for just 30 minutes a day, you can lower your risk for heart disease and stroke. So join us and take the first step to a healthier, longer life. The American Heart Association and the American Stroke Association. Life. Life is why.
And welcome back to ECKSTEIN's Cafe TV. And today we have Lucie Lewis as a guest here. And we just finished discussing all about her book, I Am, that she has written, which is a journey into herself. It's about herself, and it's a combination of an autobiography and a spiritual journey. And it's a lovely book. I have a copy of it myself, but I just love to have her sit and tell you all about it from her own perspective, and you know how it changed her life and what she was going through and everything. So the first half of this episode, if you missed it, you can catch it on YouTube, rewind, and you can see it again. But this half right now we're going to talk about is all about Lucie's business and her happenings and what's going on with her right now. So, okay.
Well,
so
thank you. Okay.
Yeah.
We'll
The floor is yours, Lucie.
Well, the name of my company is Creative Futures, LLC. And I'm a freelance technical and creative writer, which is a mouthful to say that I just love to write. I love to tell people stories. And as a technical writer, the whole concept is about taking complex ideas and making them accessible for people to understand. Now, there's several ways that you can have technical information. And when people think about technical writers, they think about programmers, you know, and engineers writing and documenting these complex mathematical or engineering kinds of concepts.
With that.
I wouldn't need, look, I try very hard to be intelligent when I talk about those things, and there is a way to, as a engineer or a non-technical person in that sense to be able to access it and translate the data. But technical information can be anything from understanding how to craft a business plan.
Yeah.
Because in order to craft a business plan, you have to explain information about the market.
Yeah.
You have to explain information about income and that whole journey about your whole planning process and what you hope to achieve. There, you can write that in a way that it's like a history book.
Yeah.
Or you can write that in a way that is engaging and compelling for people to read, which is why the tag creative comes into play. I try to take that kind of what is often dry and very formal kind of writing and interject the kind of compelling, colorful, descriptive language that allows people to not only understand it, but to be moved by it.
Yeah, be taken in.
Exactly. So
Wow.
as part of the technical experience, I do grant writing, I do business plans, I do process documentation. For example, if an organization is having a series of meetings and they want to help people to understand through transparency what happened in that meeting.
Right.
There's this thing called minutes, but minutes capture what went on. But process documentation starts before the process and says, why is this important? And as a trained researcher, I will research the environment,
Right.
the circumstances that led that to be an issue, be they statistical data, social data, whatever, to take that and pull it together in a meaningful story that explains to people, why is this an issue? Why is this a problem?
Right.
Why is it something we need to sit and deal with? And then capture not just the minutes of what happened at the meeting, but what the process was all about.
Right.
What the elements of the process were, what the dynamics of the group was, what their
The
goals and
substance,
mission
bring
were.
them the
what
substance and order.
Exactly, to give meat and body to not just this is what they talked about, but this is who the committee was and what they were doing their work about. And then to summarize the outcome of that meeting. That's process documentation. And there's
Wow.
also strategic planning that I document. And there's a whole lot that goes into strategic planning, including the preparation for the work, which often includes focus groups or surveys or something like that. And
So
I work
you
with
help with, you
I
work with
work
businesses
with people
and
to do that kind of information, the focus group work, the survey. I help design the surveys and create the surveys.
Wow.
And then help to have people, once the surveys are completed, to collect the surveys and analyze the data to get what the message is in the surveys. And the
Right.
trick with survey creation is not just asking a question, but how you ask the question and how you make the intent of the question understood. Because you can throw together a survey with some very basic questions.
like the
and
ones
then,
they do in the mall.
but then when you get them back, the results don't tell you anything.
No.
A survey is intended to actually get at the heart of
A
an
good
issue.
quality survey.
And so when you craft a survey, you actually have to say, what is it I need to understand? And you always start. I was at a meeting a couple of weeks ago and was so pleased when the facilitator for the meeting said this, because in all my career this has always been my mantra: start with the end and go backwards.
Oh.
What is it that you need to understand? Well, what does understanding that look like? Well, if this is what understanding that looks like, what do you need to know to create that picture? Well, if this is what you need to know, this is the question you need to ask. So you back up to what you put into the survey by starting with the end in mind. That way, when people answer the question, you now get a full picture. It may not be the answer you wanted,
Right.
but at least it was the right question to get you there. In other words, you may have a notion of what you see the world as. You have a perspective, you have an understanding. And particularly in strategic planning, when you back up and say, well, does everybody see this the way I do?
Yeah.
And then you back up and you ask the questions, this is the world I see, do you agree with me? Some people may say no.
Yeah.
You do have to be ready for that answer when you walk into the strategic planning process.
Yeah.
You have to be ready for people to come from a different place. And a properly crafted survey gives you that foundation of the place people are coming from. And when you take that into the strategic planning process, you're now armed with a full picture of what it is you're dealing with. Then as you work through the planning process, you can ask meaningful questions in the planning process. Documenting that then means you capture not only what was in that process and what the goals and objectives were, but you capture it so that the strategic plan doesn't end up on the shelf.
Yeah.
One of the issues people have with strategic planning is it's a lot of work.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of time.
Just the title itself
Oh,
sounds
it's a terrible. You know, that's one of the things we need to rename. I'm sorry, we need to rename
let's
strategic
sit down
planning.
and have a meeting on strategic planning.
It's like it's the thing that puts everybody to sleep. But by being put to sleep and putting it on a shelf,
Yeah.
the hard work gets lost. So when
So if you know what you're doing and you know, like you're educated on it, and other people,
when you document that process, this is again where the creative side of the process comes in. You can document, we said this, these are the goals, these are objectives, this is who's going to do it, and they're going to put it on the shelf. But when you document the strategic plan with the informed perspective that came before through the surveys, this is what people thought, this is what that understanding led us to come to understand, this is, as a result, these are the things we need to do to respond to that, and these are the actions we need to take. The actions will allow this outcome. This outcome is meaningful because. When you write that into the strategic plan itself, it's something people are willing to read because it's not just notes. It's narrative that explains a foundation that they can build on. And that's where I use my technical training in business and finance and research and analysis, which is what my background was originally in, to be able to use that creative aspect to say, this is something that you can read that's going to bring a message to you. I've done lectures in front of classes, English classes, and I love messing with the high school
colleges?
students.
Or at the high
At
school students?
high school English classes, and I always ask them, okay, what does it mean to use language, and to use language well? Something we no longer tend to care about doing, especially in 140 characters when you know, but we're not going to get into that conversation today. But I asked them, okay, I'm going to give you a sentence, and I'm going to say, I want you to tell me what's wrong with the sentence and how you're going to fix it. And the sentence I love to throw at them is, the boy climbed the tree. Now that's a very factual sentence. The boy climbed the
Verb,
tree.
noun, everything's right there. So I can imagine the responses
What
you
do
get.
you know about the boy? Well, he was a young boy. Okay. Was he very tall? Was it hard for him to get in the tree? Was he athletic? Did he need help getting into the tree? Oh, okay, so that we can use descriptive language to tell somebody about the boy, to make that a more interesting sentence. So then I pull out this dreaded book that I'm not even sure they have in most schools anymore. It's called a thesaurus. Oh, that word. It sends shivers to the minds of many.
because I'll just Google now. I do have a few of them still in the house, and I kept them through college. But, you know, all it is antonyms, synonyms.
But the thing about language
But they're very
is
helpful.
two words may mean the same, but not mean the same.
Yeah.
There is a connotation to a word. There is a feeling to a word. There is a message conveyed in a word. So they may be synonyms, but they may not be the right word for the sentence.
True.
I miss my mom terribly. And one of the biggest reasons I miss my mom terribly is when I was writing, I would call her on the phone. And I would say, Mita, this is the sentence. This is the thing I'm trying to help people to understand. And she said, yeah. I said, so I need a word. So she and I would sit. Sometimes we'd sit on the phone for a half hour, 45 minutes to an hour, and we would play with the English language. And we'd say, well, what does this word mean? What does it say? And by the time we were done, the sentence that we had crafted actually said what I wanted it to say, and it said it in very few words. Because brevity is critical in a well-written message. But you can only have brevity when you have the correct language.
Exactly.
So the creative element of what I write is I take the technical aspect of what you need, the description, the explanation, the process, whatever it is. I take that and I say, what is the most compelling way to tell that story? So that people will, A, understand it, B, be able to use that information in intelligent and meaningful ways, and C, take it forward and have it actionable. Because if what you write is not actionable, it doesn't bring you the results you need, then you have not written you have not told the story that needs to be told. And it's the story.
Not to keep it on the shelf, like you said.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter what it is. It's the story behind the message that the words need to convey.
Can I ask you where
Absolutely.
you got your education and your training? I mean, what level? Your college?
Actually, I went to McMurray College in Jacksonville, Illinois, as a special education major. And then I went from there. I actually graduated from AIC because my dad died in my junior year, and I transferred to be closer to the family. So McMurray College, AIC, was undergrad.
Sorry to hear about your dad.
Yeah, it's been a bit, but I miss him most when I'm gardening because he was a gardener, and he would, that's a sad story. Actually, it was his garden that made the book have its title. Renewal within the garden. But then I went to Winnick for business. I started in my MBA program in Winnick. And then that interruption in my life, that little person that led to the book, he was born while I was at Winnick. And I was halfway through that program, and I transferred to Springfield College and
you've been to
Human Services Administration. So yeah, I've had 6 careers and more colleges than I care to count. And so
I think I'm going to come to you when it's time to write my book. No, seriously, I have been considering writing my book, the autobiography. But it's like I've started, to be honest, I've started about 3 or 4 times. And then I'm like, and I've set up the chapters and the preface and everything, based on looking at other books. And I said, because I did really good in college with writing and with the English courses and everything. And I always said, I got to write a book. I got to write a book. And people, when I talk to them and tell them stuff about my life, you need to write a book, So I'm like getting to that point. I'm not.
It's almost time. You'll know when it's time. You'll know when it's time.
But I've been wanting to get a second computer because I have one mainly for my music. And I have my little tablet, but I want to get one because I know me. I'm going to start writing it by the computer and save it all in there, and then just one day
well, that's I compose.
Because handwriting it, no. People, there's the old-fashioned way they used to use the typewriter, but now you got computers, so you can just pretty much But I've been considering writing a book, but I'm going to come to you because she's got it down. So
but
I want to keep it on the shelf.
To answer the final question, I got my doctorate in human services and educational leadership. From William Howard Taft University. So that's the.
So you're skilled in your degrees and doctorate. You have human services. You have writing,
education.
I have. Oh my goodness!
And then
your husband is a lucky man, Lucie. I hope he knows this.
Well, we'll call him and tell him.
I met him once. I think when we bumped into each other. I think at the Marriott when it was the big housing event, the celebration with Dick Gregory.
Yeah,
Gregory.
yeah, that's that.
What is his name?
Dick Gregory.
Dick Gregory.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, the famous
exactly,
Dick Gregory was
exactly.
there. That was a nice event.
That was a good
a very
event.
nice event.
But the other thing that informs my experience, that allows me to do the kind of technical writing that I do, is the years that I spent as a commercial loan officer in banking and a financial
Banking too.
Banking, and I was an economic development specialist, actually in Richie Neal's Office of Economic Development when he was a mayor. And so you take that plus 22 years as the director of institutional research at STIC. I've had a lot of years of.
How come I never met you at STIC when I went
don't
there?
know, but I was there.
That's something. I mean, I was always at the radio station, and then I was in the medical.
Yeah.
So, but you know, I still did the pre-liberal arts courses too.
Yeah,
So
no, I was there for 22
wow.
years. So
I had to have met you then. I looked totally different back then. I'm always chameleon changing, but my college years, I was, just different. It was different.
But don't even look at my college pictures. We're not going to have that conversation.
My son was little, so I used to drag him to classes with me because you know how the kids they have the school days off.
Yeah.
The courses and some of the college
They
classes
don't always
they're
take
not
off.
off.
No, they don't
so
always
he's
go
like,
off.
"Mom, what you gonna do? The daycare is closed. You're coming to school with me." I sure enough did bring him and put him at the desk behind me with a coloring book. And you be quiet. I'm gotta listen. But I was hoping that would rub off. And he'd want college. But he's like me. He went for music.
Yeah.
But my other child, my daughter, she's 21. She's in Quinnipiac University going to become a doctor.
That's where my son graduated.
Are you kidding
Yeah,
me?
he graduated from Quinnipiac.
Oh, wow. I'm so proud that she's there.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's
I know
a
they
wonderful
recently.
school.
It is.
It's a
very,
wonderful
everyone
school.
tells me, I'm like, my daughter goes to Quinnipiac. Oh, your daughter goes there. It's a prestigious school. And, and it's expensive. It's very expensive. I mean, me and her father both dealing with that, but you know, and she's such a hard worker, but she is very determined. So, you know, we don't have a problem with putting the money up for her to go to a good school because my son, he started school and dropped out when he went into college. He tried a couple times, but he's into the music, and he does it in reverse. I think, you know, as he gets older, and then he's going to go to college later.
You know, the thing about education is we all come to education at different stages and times and ways in our lives. We all learn differently. We all get sparked by different things. And the expectation that every student, every child, you know, the 4-year route that's going to take them 6 to 7 years and then and go forward, it may not work for everybody. Everybody's not a classroom person. Thank God for online education, for alternate routes of people to learn and to find a path, because we all have to find that journey. As I say, one of the things I love to tell young people when I talk to them is, I have had 6 careers, and I have no problem with all 6. I got something out of each one that moved me forward, that made me capable for this 7th journey in my life, which, by the way, is not my last, because
Thank you.
No, I've got something else left to do.
More
I've got other,
I know what you mean.
I've got other journeys that I need to take and other things I need to learn and grow. Lifelong learning is the most important gift any single person can give themselves, because there is always something that tomorrow can show you that yesterday didn't have ready for you. That you are now in a position to accept. And it's like a fruit that has to ripen. You have to leave it on the tree long enough, and you have to use it before it spoils. So you just keep moving forward through your life. And each part of the journey, know when it's time to move on. Know when it's time to add to it. Know when it's time to find a new way to express it. Know when it's time to take a new journey. But we need to allow ourselves and each other the permission to develop, to grow, to evolve as people. And the pressure that we keep on, particularly on young people, their path may not be our path. Or the way that they get to it may not be a way that makes sense to us. But
he's definitely on a journey with his music. He loves to write. He did do a year in the college, and it was business that he was taking. But I know for certain that, I mean, he loves to venture out in different things. And it's like, with me, I started out, when I went to college, I went and I got my degree in nursing. Then I bought a home and turned it into a home daycare. And I did that for 7 years. And then I did some nursing third shifts on the side. And then, through it all, I maintained my music career since I grew up as a child learning jazz and being part of the choir in the church. And now I'm doing TV, I'm into radio, I want graphic arts. I want to go back to school for, to further the technical and the advanced computer stuff. And that's a whole new world, but I love it. I love like graphic arts and all this stuff that I'm like, God, you got me doing all this stuff, and it's like,
and there's a purpose to that
yeah,
journey.
there
is something.
And then I'm a minister now too, and I'm still in school to become.
Oh, how wonderful!
Yeah, I did it online.
There you go.
I got my ministry. I'm ordained in healing and anointing.
Okay.
And I'm finishing up as a reverend.
Okay.
But I'm also training for a pastor. But my thrill is evangelizing with my music.
Okay.
And doing some lecturing. So
Yep.
I do it on the TV show.
Yep.
But it just goes to show you, I agree totally 100% with you.
You have to be
A
open to
well-rounded
that journey.
and open to.
You never know where it's going to take you.
Yeah.
And every new day gives you the opportunity for something new.
So, Lucie, can you tell our audiences how they can reach you and what your services offer with your business, and if they're interested, how they can get in touch with you?
My website is Creative Futures LLC, www.creativefuturesllc.com.
We'll put that up so
We'll
it'll
put
scroll
that,
by.
I kind of went through that very quickly.
That's okay.
And my contact information is there for people to be able to reach me. I have a contact form, but my email is on that website. The email is Lucie, Luciek, at creativefuturesllc.com. And you can reach me through that email. And there's an explanation of the kind of work that I do. And there's examples of some of the work that I do on that website.
Great. Thank you so much, Lucie.
Oh, it's my pleasure. I thank you so much for having me. It's
been
fun.
It was so great when we ran into each other at the Unity First UMass Center event that they have, the Innovation Nights that we covered here at the ECKSTEIN Cafe TV show. It had to be broken into 3 episodes because it wasn't that long, but it was so rich with information. And it's coming up again. I'm going to have the flyer posted up here for you all to see. And if not, I'll definitely shoot by the information where you sign up for it, a registration online, and it's going to be at the UMass Center again, October 27th, 2016, which is downtown Springfield in Tower Square, and it's with Unity First, a collaboration with UMass Center, and a lot of networking goes on, and there's 2 new speakers.
This
one
in
coming up.
October, it's going to be, let me get this name right because I mess it up all the time. It's the New England chapter of the National Multi-Ethnicity in Communications Network.
Okay. I'm glad you know more because I saw the flyer quick and I registered.
Yeah, and that's a very impressive organization.
Yes.
They have a website as well, and they're coming to open up doors for people. So I strongly recommend, particularly if you're looking for a career in that kind of communications-based background, then that would be an event for you to
and
definitely
it's free.
attend.
These
and
events are free.
Yep.
And they're going to start having classes, Janine said, for different things. And
Yeah.
get involved. We're going to be there. We're going to be covering it. But you need to be down there yourself, especially if you want to network with the big wigs, I call them, because these are the people that have the things happening and can point you in the right direction. And again, you can reach Lucie at the sites that she mentioned. I'm going to have the emails, the website scroll by. It's probably scrolling by right now. And get in touch with her and find out all about her and look her up and get her book and read it, because it is life-changing and it is very significant and important, especially for us women out there that are going through things, and we need some direction in our life to help with that. So I again thank you, Lucie. Thank you so much. It's great seeing you.
Thank you so much.
And hopefully we'll have you back down here again as
I would look forward
things
to it.
change around and you get something new happening. Just, you know, we'll touch base and
Sounds
get you back
wonderful.
down here. Okay,
Excellent.
thank you so much.
Excellent.
And that's it for today, and we'll see you again in the ECKSTEIN Cafe TV studio here at Focus TV, and we look forward to having you again. And don't forget, bring your coffee, brothers and sisters. We love you. Take care. Goodbye.